Well, people are wondering, should The Rock come back? Well, more like WWE officials should, wanting The Rock to win the Royal Rumble so he can face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the titles. And honestly, that should really not happen. It really doesn't need to happen because one, The Rock is a part timer. He's in movies. He's doing shows. He's doing everything big in Hollywood right now. It wouldn't make sense for him to come back, win the Royal Rumble, take the titles from Roman just to lose it like a couple months later. It doesn't make sense. The story writes itself when it comes to The Rock and Roman Reigns and the Uso bloodline and everything like that. It writes itself. I'm telling the truth because there's no point of you losing the title to a part timer just to gain it back months later. It doesn't make sense. Like, obviously, The Rock is going to put over Roman because he's the biggest star in the WWE right now. And plus, the Bloodline is a huge ass faction in the WWE. It's the biggest faction right now in WWE history. Like, why lose it to The Rock just for him to lose the title to Roman again? It doesn't make sense. Like, there's plenty of better people to take the titles from Roman. You have Randy Orton, who's out on injury right now. You have Cody Rhodes, that's supposed expected to win. Seth Rollins, that had a huge history with Roman Reigns. You have Kofi Kingston. You have Sheamus. You have so much big, huge stars in the WWE that can take the titles from Roman. So much big stars right now. There's no point in putting up like a part timer. Like, no offense, Rock, but there's no point in putting a part timer just for him to lose to Roman, or just for him to lose the titles a couple months later. It doesn't make sense. How it should be, you should have either Seth Rollins, winning out the Royal Rumble, beating Roman Reigns for both the titles at WrestleMania. Then it should be Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins for the titles, and then Cody Rhodes get both of the titles from Seth Rollins. Or what I think should really happen is you can either have Roman Reigns defending both titles, the WWE Championship on night 1, the Universal title on night 2, right? So you have Cody wins the Royal Rumble, beats Roman for WWE Championship on night 1, and then probably still retains the title on night 2. So he could still be superior with one championship, right? Same thing goes for the Usos. Usos can defend their titles to somebody else, the Raw's tag team titles to, some other team, and still keep the SmackDown tag team titles. So in all pointing, you can still have Roman Reigns still be the face of the company, but with one, world title. Like, obviously, you want Roman Reigns to take off one of the titles, right? It needs to happen. Raw needs a world championship right now. Like, world champion right now. I'm not saying Raw is not strong, because they're not. They're doing better. But without that world champion, to leave Raw, it still looks weak, though. It still looks weak to the brand. I'm not hating on the brand, because the brand is doing pretty good with all the returns and all the storylines that's happening. I love it. But without that world champion to sustain and, make Raw stay a balance, the Raw's looking kind of weak. I'm not going to lie. But for me right now, I really think that, for Roman to drop the title, it needs to go to Cody Rhodes. It needs to. If you're going to drop the titles to anybody, you can lose it to Cody Rhodes. That's definitely what needs to happen right now. Like, literally, it doesn't make sense it doesn't really make sense for The Rock to go to the Rumble and win it. It does not make sense. Like, you can use the Royal Rumble for some other push, like I said, like Seth Rollins, or Sheamus, or Kofi, or Cody Rhodes, somebody else, and then, obviously, The Rock can get a shot at Roman Reigns without the Rumble, because he's already a big-ass star already. He's been known in the WWE for years, for over decades. He can get a shot at Roman for the titles without even the Royal Rumble. He can go to, like, SummerSlam, or he can go to Elimination Chamber, or Crown Jewel, or Super Showdown if they decide to put that back on again. or Summer. Like I think I already said SummerSlam, but you can do any other. You can do any other pay per view besides WrestleMania. It doesn't have to be WrestleMania because he's already a big enough superstar. How it is, he does not need the Royal Rumble to be like, yo, I'm gonna challenge you for them titles. He doesn't need that. He doesn't need that because The Rock is already in Hollywood, right? He's already doing movies, commercials. He's big Hollywood now. He doesn't need that. Just like John Cena. Remember how John Cena came back for some time and try to wrestle Roman and take the title to become a 17-time world champion. And look, and like that didn't it was a great match, but bro, you're a part timer. You're not a full timer no more. You're a part timer. You do movies, you do shows, you're in commercials. Like, no offense, we love these huge stars like The Rock and John Cena, everybody, but you're a part timer. Part timer. Like, give that opportunity to anybody else that deserves a shot at the title. Anybody else. Like, shoot, give us Riddle again. Shoot, you can give us Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens again. Give us Logan Paul again, because that match at Crown Jewel was fire. Like, you can give us anybody else. Give us new talent. Don't give us old talent. Don't give us part-timer talent. Like, no offense to all the, to the part-timers out there that does movies and go to WWE or the movies or some other wrestling corporation. I don't blame you. But if you want to get more viewers to come to the WWE, give other wrestlers opportunity. Give some new opportunity to new people so we can see how they perform under the pressure, like a world championship title reign or something like that. We need something like that because a part-timer we don't need. Like, Roman is already a part-timer in WWE. We don't need another one again as a world champion. It does not need to happen like that. Like, you want the titles to be out for Roman, right? You want one of the titles, like the WWE title, to be out for Roman. Have Cody Rhodes win the title. So you can have a world title on Raw and a world title on SmackDown. Like how it's supposed to be. Same thing goes for the Usos. Tag team titles on Raw. There's still the tag team titles on SmackDown. That needs to happen. I love WWE with their heart and soul. I love WWE with everything on my mind. I really do, but you need to do better when it comes to this. Oh God, they don't want a part-timer to win the Royal Rumble at all. We don't. You can give us a storyline with The Rock, a good storyline with The Rock without the Royal Rumble. It can happen. We've seen it done before. It doesn't need to happen. You can even have this. You can even have, they can go on the WrestleMania, alright? Hear me out. You can have The Rock go on a WrestleMania without the Royal Rumble, alright? They build the championship, match for WrestleMania on night 2 on a Sunday. The Rock versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Championship, Universal Championship. The Rock beats Roman for the title. And obviously Cody Rhodes, after he wins the Royal Rumble, comes in, faces The Rock, and Cody beats The Rock and becomes, World Heavyweight Champion. That sounds like a great storyline. A great storyline, because you have the American Nightmare stepping up versus the People. The People's Champion. You know how good that match would be? The People Champion versus the American Nightmare? Chef's kiss. That would be a great storyline. A great storyline. Something like that. I would love the top guy of the company to be Cody Rhodes. The main eventer to be Cody Rhodes. I need to see that. I want to see that. As much as I love The Rock, as much as I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson, we all know and love him. But he does not need to be in the Royal Rumble. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense whatsoever. He doesn't need to be in the Royal Rumble. It should be either this. It should be, you can have Cody versus Roman on night 1 for the WWE title, and then you have The Rock versus Roman on night 2 for the Universal title. You can do that as well too. That sounds much better. I personally would like to see that than him defending both titles, for one person. Like, there's so much ways that WWE can put this. There's so much, storylines that WWE can go when it comes, to WrestleMania season. Like, obviously, no offense to The Rock, but it just should not happen. You can let Cody win the Rumble. You can take the title from Roman or maybe somebody that we would never respect, like Randy Orton, for example, or have a Kofi Mania 2.0 again. We'd love to see that. Like, I always love the Rumble because when it comes to the Royal Rumble, you have you have new talent coming onto the Royal Rumble. Then people that we never expected to win, they win. I mean, some people that we've seen, like Randy Orton wins before, or Roman Reigns wins before. We've seen Seth Rollins win. We've seen Drew McIntyre win the Royal Rumble in 2020. Like, stuff like that. People that we haven't seen in a minute win the Royal Rumble. And like for example, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was he was the face. He was like the biggest face of the company, right? He was a big face of the company. When he won the Royal Rumble in 2020, bigger face in WWE history. The biggest face. And then faced on to face Brock Lesnar for the WWE title at WrestleMania. And yes, even though it was during COVID, which was the saddest kind of reign, even though that was his greatest reign when he did it in the Thunderdome and in the Performance Center, he still beat Brock Lesnar and became the WWE champion. A 2-time WWE champion at that. So, you can have great talent like that and beat Roman. We've seen it. We've seen great talent that we have never seen before in the WWE beat one of the biggest people, the biggest heels in WWE, and become great champions. We've seen that happen. It can happen again. But me personally, I don't want The Rock to win the Royal Rumble. It doesn't need to happen. Like, we all love The Rock. We all love The Rock of what he does. He brings smiles to people's faces. He's always he has really good energy, really good vibes. But we do not need him to win the Royal Rumble, at all. It does need to happen. I would rather see Cody or Seth Rollins win the Royal Rumble, or Randy Orton, or Kofi Kingston, or have Big E come back and he can win the Royal Rumble. It doesn't care, but we need new talent to be in the Royal Rumble. We just need them to win and face Roman Reigns for the title. That's what needs to happen. No, like I said, Triple H, you have done everything right since you became head of creative. You have done everything right. You took, small L's here and there, I'm not going to hold you, but you've done everything right, man. You gave us major W's this year. Don't ruin it by putting The Rock in the Royal Rumble. Please don't. Because if you do, if you put Rock in the Royal Rumble and have him win, we won't forgive you. We won't forgive you, Triple H. We won't, man. We will be extremely mad and pissed about it. We want new people. We want great, new talent to win the Royal Rumble. That's all we want. Do the right thing, Triple H. I know you will, but do the right thing, man.